So, I'm not sure if you guys saw this Jerry Jones interview, mini press conference, whatever you want to call it, but he said something I've never heard him say before, number one. But number two, it was just really weird, all things considered. So, I want to talk about that today. But before we get into that, two things. The first thing that I want to stress is I'm not trying to spread any misinformation or any rumors that are like I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm just doing this. Look, I'm just going off of what he said because, again, I've never heard Jerry say this in my entire time covering the team on YouTube or even outside of that. That's number one. Number two, if you guys could do me a solid favor and like this video, that'd be greatly appreciated. It doesn't take too long to do and it helps the channel out a lot in YouTube's algorithm. Subscribe if you're new here if you haven't done so already to receive more Dallas Cowboys content. Because if I hit 10K subscribers by the end of the year, I will have to eat 2 of the world's hottest chips. So if you want to see that happen live, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. So, I can't show the interview itself or play any audio without risk of a copyright. And considering that until mid-February, the strikes come down, I'm not going to do anything crazy like that. But I'm going to read some quotes for you, which I will put on the screen for you so you can follow along. So to start things off, with this article from Pro Football Talk, part of NBC Sports, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was convinced Dan Quinn was leaving after one season as the team's defensive coordinator. So Jones did what he had to do to assure Quinn would return, giving Quinn a multi-year contract extension. Well, that's one part of it, people. Like, we know that that wasn't the main thing that fueled his return. I know that there are reasons why he returned, with the young guys, them bonding. That's part of it. But, something with that Denver job, I feel like something was awry there. So, Jones calls it a major coup that the Cowboys will keep Quinn. They wanted Dan to stay for continuity. All that other stuff. So, now the question kind of is this, right? This is not the first time that a Cowboys coordinator had interviews for head coaching positions or other roles and something happened to where they came back, whether there was a backdoor deal or something else came up. So, for instances, Sean Payton turned down the chance to coach the Raiders in 2004 before he left for the Saints in 2006. Jason Garrett turned down the Ravens and Falcons in 2007. Then he eventually became the head coach. So, there is a interesting connection of history with how the Joneses handled business. And it could end up leading to Dan Quinn possibly being the coach in waiting. So now this is where this interview gets very, very weird, to say the least. Because Jerry goes on and he says this. He stays here because there has always been, with every coach, every one of those 3 coaches, those referring to Sean Payton, Jason Garrett, and then Dan Quinn, has said they would love to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone. Everyone. So my point is that has, in my mind, a lot of logic as to why they may not take a job now rather than one or wait we see how the cards go in the future. He then elaborates about how he feels about Dan Quinn as a head coaching candidate, and he says he's certainly qualified. He's very qualified. Yes, I would consider, if I did not have a coach, I would have been interviewing him for coach. And you don't say that, number one. You don't say that given the circumstances, but there is a part where then I get a bit freaked out about this interview. Now, the part that gets me in all of this, okay, is the fact that Jerry Jones said this after he talked about Dan Quinn possibly being interested in being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He said this about Mike McCarthy. Mike knows that someday somebody other than him will be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I wanted them to be thinking that they were talking to a guy who could be the head coach of the Cowboys. That's the part where something is up. I think behind closed doors, again, this is just speculation. I don't want you to think I'm seriously, reporting this. I think Mike McCarthy knows that if he F's up in year 3 of his program, he's gone. He does not have that connection that Jason Garrett had, that Sean Payton had. And so I'm not the biggest fan of the retreads because, there's only certain coaches that you can justify them coming in and doing another coaching gig. Andy Reid's one of them. Really, you can maybe pull up Bill Belichick maybe, but again, the part that I think that the Cowboys organization needs to do is that I think that you have other options rather than Dan Quinn, and I think it just comes down to this, right? And this is the part where this could derail Dallas's 2022 season. If we have to hear that Dan Quinn is the head coach in waiting, or rather there's this thing where now players love Quinn more than they like Mike McCarthy, you could end up being in a situation where they don't give a shit about the season and they want Dan Quinn to be the head coach, especially if he has a hold on the locker room. And that's the problem. If the Dallas Cowboys want to seriously become contenders, they need to, besides from how you build the team, they need to build continuity with this team. And I think bringing back the coordinators is fine. I think I think Kellen Moore should be the guy that's going, but I mean, I don't know. This is just tough because I've never seen this be aired out by Jerry, and he could be saying this for fluff. And I'm about 75% sure he's just saying this shit. But again, I always like to kind of keep an eye out on this because sometimes, when there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm going to just keep an eye out. Okay, so I don't know why you would say this before the offseason hits, but there's a strong possibility that the Cowboys could have a new head coach in 2023, whether it be Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, or whoever, but something is going to change in 2023 if Mike McCarthy does not get this team into a deep playoff run. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys could do me a solid favor and like the video, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell while you're on the way out, that'd be greatly appreciated. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.